We met at the Lutheran Student Center, which is now Lord of Light. It was an old house at that time, and they had programs for the students, and I had been attending the 3 years I had been here, and they had Sunday dinners. And I think that's probably the first time that I met John at a Sunday dinner. And the next time I met him, he came to the Cousins Hall of Nurses dorm to visit another young lady. He asked me about her. I let him know that you just don't appear and ask to see one of the residents. You call ahead to see if you can greet them. He rented a room across from the student center.
Boarded there.
Yeah, boarded there. And then he would watch to see when I came, and then he would come on over. He said that it was efficient studying that way. He was stationed in South Carolina, North Carolina, and he and his buddies would get a week. He'd give blood, so he'd get an extra weekend off, so that they would drive like crazy up to Pennsylvania and across on the Ohio Turnpike into Ann Arbor. So I got to see him every once in a while. We dated for about a year, and then got married. And on my birthday, on my 25th birthday, I remember thinking that when I was 25, my life would be downhill after that, because that was old. So we proceeded to get married my 25th birthday.
So it did go downhill, right?
Well, I thought he was pretty country. I thought, gee, I'm sorry, honey. Of course, you know, I had been at the university for 3 years, and I was more sophisticated. One day I looked at him and saw him in a new light, and that was just kind of it.
Yeah. Well, I just thought she was beautiful, cute, and well, she was fun to be with. We had a lot in common because we almost could have been raised as brother and sister. We were both born in Detroit. Both families moved out of Detroit back to the family area. Both went to country schools. We had the same religion. Pretty much the same ethnic backgrounds. We have an awful lot in common, and it just fit.
Well, first of all, he said he wasn't going to get married. His idea was that he would have a house and paid for before he got married. Well, it was in my hometown, in Alpena, and we had the pastor of the Lutheran Student Center drive up to marry us, because, you know, this is where we met and he knew us. So it was mostly a family thing, and it was in the evening, and we had a small reception. He borrowed his brother's car, and we went to New York for our honeymoon. I remember we drove through Canada down the Taconic State Highway, which was a beautiful highway. In fact, after we got back, I wrote the Department of Transportation of New York and told them what a beautiful highway they had and how much we enjoyed traveling through. And I actually got a reply. They said they were really pleased to hear that, because most of the correspondence they got were complaints. And then he took me to the planetarium, which he just absolutely loved. And the first thing they tell you is to tilt back and look up at the ceiling, kick your shoes off, and fortunately he was dark, so I don't think he knew that I slept through that too. I really have problems falling asleep. My kids call me narco, for narcolepsy sometimes. We had enough money. I think we went on $100 to New York City, didn't we?
Yeah, we left Alpena with, I think, about $115 in our pocket.
And so we came home, we had enough money to buy pancake mix, milk, and bacon, so we'd have something to eat the next morning. For an engineer, John was always very, well, let me see. He expressed his love. He always told me he loved me, always, I mean, to this day. in our younger years when we would go to parties and things, he would come home and he'd say, I had the best looking wife at the party. He'd tell me how nice I looked. And I tell men today, you don't really have to be big on the gifts, but if you just express your love and tell them that you love them and let them know you care for them. I still have a note in my bedside stand that I came home from being gone one time, and on my pillow was a note that said, I love you, John.
Signed John, right?
That just means a lot. You know that you're cared for, you know that you're loved. We really never argued too much. I know one time we got to discussing politics in a loud voice and our kids started crying because they thought we were fighting. Our kids love us and care for us as we do for them. And our faith, you know, we've always gone to church. That's one of the first things we do when we move to a place. The church has been, as we've moved around away from our family, the church has become our church family. So it's not exciting, but it's been a great ride.